Okay, so first of all, I just mentioned earlier about being crazy and everything. You know, frankly, there's really not that much wrong to being crazy per se. You know, just a little crazy, of course, not too crazy. You have to be a little crazy to do this whole entrepreneurial thing with all the stats and all the things that tell you that you can't do it. And it's actually not just me either. There are 3 people in this room that work with me on a full-time basis, and they're crazy too. They look normal, but you know. But basically, what I wanted to spend my time today talking about was the one word, the word no. And what I want you to do is use your imagination for a bit. I know what you're thinking. I haven't used that since I was 12 maybe, or you know, imagination is for wimps. But work with me for 1 second. Assume that all of us were to get together and we were to form this really powerful lobby group. And what we did was we approached the people of the Oxford English Dictionary, and we were to talk to them, you know, negotiate back and forth, and eventually we were able to somehow convince them to remove the word no from the English dictionary. Imagine a world without the word no. Life would be very different. So you basically go up to an investor and you'd say, I want to raise $1 million. Do you want to give it to me? Yes. you would walk in the street to, you know, some random passerby, and you would look at him and say, well, you know, I spent the last 8 months working on this product. Do you want to buy it for $10,000? Yes. You would go to the Lamborghini dealership and you'd say, that car over there, can I get it for $1? Yes. Right? So life would be very different, but also you'd remove a lot of the spice and challenges in life, and also there might be the incidents where you might accidentally ask someone if they would be willing to punch you. Right? So, but in all seriousness, the word no does do a lot. It makes life interesting. And I think that if there's one characteristic that you have to have in order to be successful as an entrepreneur is you have to love this word. Like you actually have to be obsessed with it. So imagine for a second that, you know, most of us get disappointed, and I used to be there too. When you hear no, you get disappointed. But what if you were to change that mentality completely, and every time you heard the word no, you got excited? And if you heard it again, you got even more excited, and so on and so forth. Imagine what kind of energy that would give you, and what type of determination it would give you. All you have to do is brainwash yourself into thinking that way. Take some practice. But what I want to talk about is 3 different stories where I learned the importance of loving that word. The first one was when I was still an employee at Nortel. New graduate, straight out of school, working there, and one of the most interesting things that I found was that Nortel had this committee called the Employee Satisfaction Committee. I was so amused because it's such a genius idea, because the executives have you form a committee as employees to figure out how to keep yourself happy. I mean, I can see them in the back, excellent, you know. But anyway, so I joined this committee because it was an interesting concept, and I went to a lot of meetings, and etc. And eventually, you know, I decided to join like the corporate VP level employee satisfaction committee. And you know, we had a new CTO, and he was trying to deliver this message to everyone, because everyone was saying that the problem with Nortel is it's in like 50 different things, and that's not a good thing. Because you can't focus. But what he wanted to tell people was that, you know, one of the cool things about being in 50 different things is you're almost like in the center, and you can, you know, use resources from everyone, and you're almost like in the center of the universe. And he kept telling this to people, but no one believed him. And you know, one day in a meeting, I just came up with this idea, and I said, well, what if we put that message on a t-shirt, and what if we sell it to people within the company? And everyone looked at me and said, crazy, I mean, you're too young, you don't know anything about any of this stuff. You just can't do it. No one's going to pay for a Nortel t-shirt within Nortel. You know, they give it for free maybe, but you know, even then. So anyway, took the idea, and I was like, all right, well, and you know, the very fact was they said no, and that's what made me want to do it. So I went home and I put together a t-shirt, and it looked really good. I thought it looked really good. Next meeting, I showed it to people, and they're like, wow, that actually does look pretty good. But you know, it's got a Nortel logo on it, so marketing's never going to approve, and still no one's going to pay for your t-shirt, so you know, leave it. And then I said, all right, well, screw that, I'm going to go after it anyway. So I decided to, you know, I skipped my manager, I skipped my director, went to some marketing director somewhere, and I showed them the idea, and they said no. And I was like, all right, fair enough, I'll just go to your boss. How do you know? so I did that, and they said no. And then I said, all right, fine, then I'll go to the chief marketing officer. Right, she doesn't even, work in Canada, but that's fine. Sent her an email, no response. No response is almost as bad as no. Sent another email, and I kept doing this every day for like a week. And eventually, her assistant, not even herself, replied back and said, well, I can't officially approve you doing this, but I won't stop you either. And I said, all right, fair enough, that's what I need to hear. So, and I go off and I don't tell people that, yes, I have approval officially. And so then what I do is I want to print this thing, but the problem is when you work at Nortel, everything has to be produced by the right suppliers. And so they have these appointed people, and these suppliers are really expensive. Like, at that rate, we'd have to charge $50 for the t-shirt to break even. And I said, there's no way I'm going to print it with these guys. What makes them so special? I can make $5 here. And they said, no, you have to do it. And same routine, no, and eventually, fine, we won't stop you, but we don't like it either. So anyway, I make these t-shirts, and then now comes the next challenge, and everyone's like, wow, you've made some progress, good stuff. I show them the t-shirt, and they're like, but still, no one's going to pay for it. And plus, how are you going to get people to buy this thing? Like, what are you going to do, stand in the middle of the hall and like, who wants to buy a t-shirt, while people are at lunchtime busy talking? And then I said, all right, well, if I'm crazy enough to do it, there are probably other crazy people that work here too. So I went off and I started recruiting people one by one, and we got to 30 people. And if you've ever been to the Nortel Ottawa campus, it's humongous. There's like 10, 15 labs, I don't even know. So what we did was we said, one day we're just going to set up tables, we're not going to ask for permission, we're just going to set up tables, put up banners, and we're going to take these t-shirts and we're going to sell them. And they're going to be limited edition t-shirts. That means we're making it once. If you don't get it, it's your problem. You'll never be able to get it again. And the t-shirt was kind of cool because in the front it said, for years, scientists have been searching for the center of the universe. And on the back, there was a Nortel logo in the middle of all the 50 things that it was in, and it said, the search is over. So it was kind of cocky. Anyway, so we start selling this thing, and then, one person buys it, and then the word of mouth catches it. It's like any other business. You get your first customer, and they're skeptical. Do I want to take money out of my pocket to pay for this? Blah blah. And then you get your second one, and then it becomes easier because look, that guy's wearing it right there. And you get your fourth, fifth, sixth, etc. And then day one you make 20, 30 t-shirt sales across all labs, and everyone's coordinating. And we kept doing this every day. Our sales increased. And on Thursday, we were selling this for a week. The chief technology officer found out about what we were doing, so he called me into his office, and I'm like, uh-oh, this is bad. But then he was really impressed. He's like, look at this kid. He's put, my message on a t-shirt, and he's selling it to people, and people are buying it, and they're happy. And so anyway, so he sent out an email to the entire Nortel staff, and the next day, on Friday, we sold twice as many that we'd sold the entire week. He actually bought 20 t-shirts for himself and the CEO and his cabinet. And all of that happened was, and the reason why it happened was because